Ladies and gentlemen, Domino is the second sneak peek following up Cable and Strife to make this an X-Men reunion update and potentially a Deadpool reunion update. We'll get to that in just a little bit when we explain why I'm thinking that, but Domino was created with the intention to develop the perfect weapon. Will she live up to the legacy? The lucky lady. We get this sneak peek, which these are sort of like the recycled sneak peeks at this point, where they just put the character model in the middle, they add a little bit of background stuff. In this case, it's the X for mutants, and then they just do a little 360 with a little slow-mo on the character. Now, Domino's really cool. I'm glad she's getting a Transcendence. You can see there it says potential Transcendence. So this is confirmed. Now she's going to be getting a Transcendence, which means at least one other mutant is going to be getting Transcended with her, more likely than not. As for the uniform, I have to say, god damn, the bolo, the old Texas tie is a bit distracting, but the uniform in general is, in my opinion, a lot more like mature, if I should say that, than like I'm not trying to be weird about it, chat. Okay, don't read into what I'm saying as if I'm not horny for these characters. All I'm saying is, I'm gonna get the video flagged for saying the H word. All I'm saying is that in years past, you look at Satana, you look at other characters, they changed the bust line on some other female character where in the previews for the update, she had a plunging neckline, and then they completely cut it out. I can't remember who it was. It was like maybe 6 or 7 updates ago. But this is a bit of a turn for Marvel Future Fight. I don't think it represents like a huge, drastic change, but I do think the game, when it was earlier, I need to stop playing this. When the game was younger, I think the game tried to err on the side of being more safe for all audiences. I think now that the game is older, it just doesn't give a shit anymore, and I think that's hilarious. I think the devs are just like, fuck it, fuck it, we ball kind of thing, and I think that's fine. As the game gets older, I believe your core audience gets older. There's just no way to find that many like teenagers who want to play Marvel Future Fight these days with all the other games that exist. So I think it's totally understandable, and I think it's a good marketing tactic if I had to, kind of sum it up that way. Now, I didn't read the teaser on the forums for the last one for Cable and Strife, so I want to read both of these. For Domino, it says, the mutant who always has luck on her side is back in missions as a mercenary. So now we have the sort of mercenary thing, along with Cable, I guess. The lucky assassin. Check out the new looks and abilities of the mutant who has incredible luck. On the Cable and Strife side of things, the mutant with Omega level telekinetic abilities and his evil clone have returned. The Ascani Sun and the Clone. Check out the new looks and abilities of this superhero and supervillain who resemble each other. Reading these back to back, they sound a lot more generic than I expected. But yeah, so we're going to be getting Cable Tier 4 with the new uniform, Strife Tier 3 with the new uniform, and then Domino Transcended. Now, Domino Transcended is great. We take one more character off the list who is able to only go to Tier 2. For Domino, this is her first uniform in a while, but she's never really been good. Like, she's always been a very sort of like C to D tier character. Doesn't have any sort of, she has some good passives for her time, but not a great leadership, not a great passive. I'm kind of guessing that they turn her into a support. That's my guess, just because they've been turning a lot more characters into supports lately. If you look at Angela, if you look at Spider-Woman, if you look at Enchantress, Mysterio, there's so many this year. Kraven that they turned into supports, etc., etc. I mean, even Squirrel Girl is technically a support for Thanos. So I am expecting either her to be kind of generically good but not great, or to be a support. However, what's more interesting in my opinion is the characters that we can expect to see in a Transcendence ability with her. Now, they're probably not going to get uniforms, so, you can sort of cue up the disappointment there, because if we take a look at Malekith, we know that his Transcendence skill is with Ulik, and Ulik, of course, got nothing. Now, thankfully, the characters that are in this sort of zone are a little bit better than your Ulik types, but not by much. And if you take a look here, so we've gotten Cable, we've gotten Strife, and now we've gotten Domino. I wouldn't be surprised if everybody else that's left from this update comes from this table here, right? I would not be surprised at all. So I wouldn't be surprised if you told me that Phantom X is going to be in the Transcendence skill with Domino, and he's just going to get a normie Transcendence. Shout out to Banff Breakers, by the way. Best card opening content on the internet. You should check him out. BAMF Breakers. If you're into that kind of stuff, he loves Phantom X. Anywho, I wouldn't be surprised if Phantom X gets a Transcendence as well. And then from there, you're kind of left with not very much. Now, I don't think Colossus is going to get a new uniform because he got this one last year, but he is kind of... I feel like the devs kind of like him, so it's possible he gets a new uniform. I think what's maybe more likely is Psylocke gets a uniform, but Psylocke getting a uniform would mean she needs to get a tier 4 because she's already transcended, so that's kind of unlikely. And then the possibility for Deadpool. Now, I certainly think there is a possibility going Domino, going Cable, that Deadpool gets a new uniform and a tier 4. This was a really bad uniform. I think this one undersold massively, and I think they want to move on from it, and I honestly, I would too. Deadpool hasn't been good in like almost 4 years. Like the last time he was good was about December 2019 when this uniform came out. That's a long time for a character. That's a long time, right? We're all like sighing relief that Strife is finally getting a uniform after 5 years. Sure, but Deadpool's been shitty for 4 years, so that's almost as bad. And in the meantime, he has gotten one, technically one, but 2, 3 uniforms in that time, and they've all been bad. And that includes a 30th anniversary. I could do a whole video, more or less, on complaining and being, you know, righteously upset at how badly they have fumbled Deadpool's rework, because he was a PvE god, and then they decided, you know what, we're going to make him a PvP character, and they royally screwed that up. And the thing is that it's weird. Deadpool's not a free character. He's a deluxe, you know, he's an Epic Quest character, not deluxe pack, but he's an Epic Quest character like Wolverine, who, by the way, is at the top of the PvP meta now, and has been since his release, and is good at tier 3. And the problem with Deadpool, on top of everything else, is his artifact sucks mega balls. His artifact is terrible. So they have to make his rework so fucking good, it has to overcome how shit his artifact is. His artifact, when he's debuffed, only when he's debuffed. It doesn't apply unless he gets debuffed. It gives him an attack buff for 10 seconds, and it gives him a chance to cleanse for 10 seconds. And look at that shit. That's with a 24-second cooldown. I really cannot emphasize how bad this artifact is. It's really bad, guys. And I'm not saying that the artifact is the only thing that makes the character, but in the case of most PvP metas, it kind of is. If you take a look at, you know, all of the PvP metas, almost all of them have a relevant artifact to PvP, and relevant in a way that often copies itself. Like Jean Grey and Gore have very similar artifacts. Obviously, Carnage and Wolverine have identical artifacts. So that's the case for all of those characters. But then look at this. Even at 6 stars, even a maxed out Deadpool artifact is garbage. It's just straight up. It's like if they tried to make Luna a PvP character. Her artifact isn't doing anything for her. So his artifact being as bad as it is makes me feel like either one, they're gonna, I mean, there's 3 options. They're gonna screw up his rework again. They're just gonna keep giving him bad uniform after bad uniform, and we're gonna keep buying them and keep complaining about them. They're going to make him completely busted for PvP. So much so, thanks for the invite, Awkward, but not right now. They're going to make him so busted for PvP that it doesn't even matter if you have his artifact, which is actually good for low spenders. Or the third option is that they make him good for PvE. They pivot back to PvE for Deadpool, and they finally make him good again for that content. That would be fine. I would kind of rather he be good for PvP because he has that healing, and he never dies, right? He's the character who never dies. So even if they gave him like 2 revives, or so, even if they made him like not that good, but they gave him like 2 or 3 revives, it would be pretty hilarious. But yeah, that's kind of the issue here with Deadpool. But yeah, Domino getting a Transcendence is nice. We'll see who else gets included. It's a possibility that we see other mutants as well. I think quite a few people are speculating on, because of the color of the question mark being red, if we're going to see Omega Red still, if we're going to see maybe a uniform for Rachel Summers or something like that. I'm still holding out hope for Dazzler or Omega Red. Those would be my like big wins if either one of them got, well, Dazzler getting a uniform or Omega Red getting introduced. Outside of them, I don't really have a preference. Honestly, I would kind of want to see either Kid Omega or Jubilee get something, just because it would be cool and the animations would be nice. But that about does it for my speculation. So yeah, Domino getting a new look, new powers. Who else is coming? Hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching the video. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.